Well, wouldn't you know, we got video back here for Tuesday afternoon edition of Green Wave Baseball here from Hank Greenberg Field between the Gateway Gators and the Audubon Green Wave. Gateway is 9-10 this year and 3-4 in the Colonial Conference Patriot Division. For Gateway this year, they're 1-3 in their last four, with two losses back-to-back on the 18th and 19th at Pittman and at Haddon Township. They're in their fourth road game in a row. They haven't been home since May the 10th, as Coach Inkster and Coach Jacobowski are passing us by on their golf cart. For Gateway this year, like we said, 9-10. They got a 3-1 start, beating Deptford 7-3, Lindenwold by forfeit, with their only loss in the first couple of weeks of April coming against Gloucester in a 6-4 game. But as the month of April raged on, they lost 3 in a row to Paulsboro, Collingswood, and Haddon Heights, then won 4 in a row versus Salem 17-1, Gloucester, Overbrook, and Haddonfield. And now by this point, by the time we got into late April or early May, it seemed like Gateway was going to be one of those teams, kind of like Collingswood, where they were very streaky. They were either very much on the highest high or very much on the lowest low. However, Gateway has balanced themselves out since then. And even though they're not at the top of the echelon in the Colonial Conference yet, they are still showing a lot of promise with a relatively younger ball club. Speaking of younger, a sophomore starting pitcher will be taking the mound for the Gateway Gators this afternoon. Freshman right-hander Ryan Sieber, who's posted a 3.45 ERA in 22 1/3 innings in 2022, 10 strikeouts, 14 walks, and 11 earned runs, 14 total runs. For the Green Wave, of course, it's one of their greatest aces on the ball club. It's John Perozzi back out there for another appearance. Remember, Sean Driscoll was the starter on Saturday, and he basically went the whole way except for Gabe Colon, who closed it out and gave the Green Wave their first Colonial Conference title since 2017. The seeding for the Colonial Conference and for the all of New Jersey playoffs will be tomorrow. So we'll figure it out then where Audubon will be. I talked to our athletic director, Tony Carbone, and he had said that he thinks that Audubon might be a number 1 seed in Group 1, but we will have to wait and see. On Thursday, I will note that Audubon is no longer playing Glassboro in Glassboro. Glassboro is dealing with some testing, and it was unfeasible to schedule the game for that time and date. So Audubon will play West Deptford for a third time at home, 3:45 on Thursday. Teams are assembling in their dugouts. They'll take the field shortly. We'll be back with starting lineups and first pitch from the Hank Greenberg Field between the Gateway Gators and the Audubon Green Wave, exclusively on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. from Hank Greenberg Field. The Green Wave have come out once again to the tune of Hell's Bells by AC/DC. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for Frank Alloway's Gateway Gators. Batting leadoff and playing third base is Jack Norton. At the shortstop position and batting second is Gavin Alloway. Catching and batting third is Mike Saraceno. Batting cleanup and playing first base is Connor Barbato. In right field, batting fifth is Hayden Lloyd. In the sixth position at the DH spot is Tony Tacanelli. In left field, defensively only, is Dylan Cruitt. Pitching and batting seventh is Ryan Sieber. Batting ace and playing center field is Mike Scambia. And at second base, batting ninth, is Peter Frombach. Starter for the Green Wave again with a sub-2 ERA and a bright future ahead of him playing Stockton baseball in the spring of 2023 will be John Perozzi, your starter this afternoon, making yet another start. He's been one of the guys that the Green Wave have utilized the most in the starter position. Of course, for Perozzi this year, the pitcher/first baseman has had some quite impressive stats. .360 batting average at the plate and a .206 ERA, just a little higher than 2, in 37 1/3 innings. With 56 strikeouts, the last one that he had in his last start, I believe versus Cinnaminson, if I'm correct. I'm going to check NJ.com to make sure I'm right. And yes, versus Cinnaminson was the last time that he had started. He got his 100th career strikeout as a member of the Green Wave, and he looks to get number 101 versus Jack Horton. And the first pitch is a line drive. That is a fair ball. Into the right field corner, Beebe picks it up. A slow start for Beebe, and the throw to second base is not in time. So one pitch and one double for the third baseman, Jack Norton, and this brings up Gavin Alloway. Here's the shortstop, Gavin Alloway. Very quick start. I wasn't really expecting that. Versus Perozzi, the majority of batters usually take the first pitch that they see, but Jack Norton was looking to get started on the right foot. So here's Alloway. First pitch, he bunts and misses. It's 0-1. For the shortstop Alloway, but nothing really coming out of that one there. Again, runner on second and nobody out. Now Gavin Alloway, the senior infielder, batting .431 in 2022 with a .471 slugging percentage as Perozzi steps off and signals back to second base. Swing and a foul. Alloway's baseball career goes all the way back to 2018, where he batted 1,000, 1 for 1. Backing that up with a full season in 2019 and 2021. 2 extra base hits this year, 11 walks, and 15 stolen bases as there's a ground ball to the right side. Driscoll picks it up, throw to first is in time. Norton gets to third, no problem, but a nice play ranging to his left, the senior Driscoll. And there's one away. This brings up Mike Saraceno. Seems like the track back there is having a lot of fun. No track meet today, just a lot of practice. I know sometimes when we have the track meets, we get startled by the, by the starter's gun. First pitch to Saraceno is a breaking ball that's inside. The 1-0. That one is in there for a strike. Late call at home plate, but called the same. It's 1-1. Saraceno, despite batting third for the Gators, having a sluggish senior year, a .196 average with 1 home run, 9 RBIs. He has as many ribbies as he does hits. He's 9 for 46 this year. 7 total singles, 1 double. 6 walks, 6 hit by pitches. I mean, all around not bad, but for the 3-hitter of a senior on a rather respectable team, it can make you wonder why that average is so low. It's 3-1 to Saraceno with Jack Norton on third base and 1 away in the top of the first here from Hank Greenberg. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball. Some happy feet from the senior catcher, and it's a full count. It's a dance party out here. Hope I don't get copyright strikes. That's ball 4. So fastball low to Saraceno, and he improves his OBP, and this brings up Connor Barbato, the first baseman.
I checked the audio. We're not really picking up their dance party too much, so people at home aren't really hearing it.
That's good. 261 average for Connor Barbato, the junior, in 2022. A .413 slugging percentage, 4 extra base hits, including 3 doubles and a homer. Also has been a prominent pitcher for Gateway this year, posting a very, very elite 1.43 ERA in just under 15 innings. Runners on the corners, Saraceno on first, Norton on third, and the first pitch is on the outside corner for a strike call, 0-1. And that one is a strike. 2 fastballs to the outside part of the plate, and both are called in the favor of Perozzi. It's 0-2. And time is called at the plate.
Somebody just donated $34.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
We're getting like
Yeah, of course.
getting like stuff left and right here. The Wiltsey family just gave me a couple bucks. Strikeout to Barbato. That's career strikeout number 101 for John Perozzi. And it comes to Connor Barbato. Here's Hayden Lloyd, the right fielder. Very grateful to the moms and dads and the families of the Green Wave Baseball Club that has helped us out with, the whole town. Very grateful for the surprise I received today. It's 0-1 to Hayden Lloyd, the right fielder, who wears number 11 for the Gators. Senior outfielder batting 175 this year. 2 doubles, 4 walks, 7 for 40 overall. The 0-1 to Lloyd is a fastball that misses away. It's 1-1. Swinging a foul back to the apparatus. It's 1-2. It'll be Massey, Wiltsey, and Perozzi, the first 3 batters, as usual, for the Green Wave in the bottom half of the first. We'll give you their full lineup when Gateway takes the field in the bottom of the first. 1-2. To Lloyd. And that one is strike 3. Zimmer framed it perfectly, and Gateway leaves 2 on to end the inning. Here we go to the bottom of the first. No score from the Hank Greenberg field. Ryan Sieber, the starter for the Gateway Gators, the freshman left-hander southpaw with a 3.45 ERA and 11 earned runs allowed in just under 15 innings. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for Rich Horan's Green Wave. Batting leadoff and playing center field will be Xavier Massey. At shortstop, batting second is Tyler Wiltsey. Pitching and batting third will be John Perozzi. Batting fourth and at the second base position is Sean Driscoll. Batting fifth and at third base is Isaiah Pinckney. At the sixth spot, playing first base, is Scott Lynch. Batting seventh and catching is Ryan Zimmer. Batting eighth and playing left field is Charlie Grady. And batting ninth and playing right field will be Zach Beebe. Now keep in mind on Thursday for Audubon's third game against West Deptford this year, some sophomores will be going on to the sophomore trip. So that doesn't really affect too much in terms of the starting lineup. I've talked with starting catcher Ryan Zimmer, and he had said that he will not be going on that trip to Hershey Park. So he will most likely be available for Thursday. If not, then I guess we'll see Dylan Pooley make his varsity debut, but I doubt that will happen considering the lack of catching depth on this team. I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing, just everywhere it is hard to find catchers. It's like I don't know what you want to call it, a supply chain shortage of catchers, really. Just like there would be of left-handed pitchers, but hey, you got Ryan Sieber right here.
And of course, your sophomore announcer, Dan Wilkins, will not be going on his sophomore trip so that he can be here for the baseball game.
Well, I had already said that, but we will just keep in mind that there aren't actually that many sophomores on the team. There's twice as many freshmen as there are sophomores. Jack Dempsey sometimes plays defensively at second base. Charlie Copsetta's usually the second-string pinch runner, with the other one being Damian Broadhurst, who, of course, is a senior. So the sophomore kind of, I guess you could say, depth on the ball club is actually pretty thin. So it shouldn't affect too much if, half the starting lineup are seniors and juniors. So here is Xavier Massey, 3 homers this year. Of course, the Rutgers commit, the dynamic duo with Isaiah Pinckney, both going to Rutgers this fall on their Division I commitments, as the first pitch is a breaking ball that misses upstairs, and it's 1-0 to Massey. Massey batting over 400 this year with at least a dozen, if not a dozen and a half stolen bases. He's just been absolutely killing it in his senior year. Even if his junior year had a couple of lingering injuries that didn't help him as much, as there's a fly ball playable to center field. Going back to make the play is Scambia, and there's one away. So Massey was ahead in the count, but the fly ball to center deadens that threat, and now here is Tyler Wiltsey, the freshman shortstop. Now, what I have noticed, an interesting thing here, you see that patch of grass that's kind of, I don't know what you want to say, kind of decayed a little bit. I figured out that is where Zach Beebe stands every time he's in center field. This season has run long enough to the point where you can see where the outfielders are standing. There's a fly ball to center field, Scambia going over to his left, and he makes the catch in front of his left fielding teammate Dylan Pruitt, and there are 2 away very quickly. I was looking at Ryan Sieber's warm-up pitches, and I didn't think that a first inning would be this easy considering the speed that he was throwing at, but hey, you don't have to have electric speed to be getting batters out as a pitcher. You look at, maybe not, I don't think Jamie Moyer would be a good example to use because that was 10 plus years ago, and in 20 years, the average fastball of a major leaguer has gone up by at least 6 miles per hour. In 2000, the average fastball speed was 90 miles per hour. It's actually 89, excuse me. There's a swing and a miss by Perosi. It's 1-1 to the pitcher. But now in 2020, it had gone up to 94. So the average velocity of a fastball in the big leagues had gone up by 5 miles per hour. And with the exceeding technology in arm care and arm treatment for pitchers and how they change their workout regimens and stuff, then it will only get faster with time. That's why you see Ben Joyce of Tennessee. If you do not know who Ben Joyce is, you should definitely look at some of his highlight reels. As the 2-1 is down low, it's 3-1. Ben Joyce is a pitcher for Tennessee that once he gets to the big leagues, he will be the next like Aroldis Chapman. He throws very regularly in the 101 to 105 range. He probably is more comparable to Jordan Hicks, as there's a line drive to center field. Scambia will not get there. He fields it on a hop. Going to second and holding up is Perosi. He will hold with a single. Very good defensively from Scambia. He almost made all 3 outs, but the ball just got over his reach, and he fielded it on a hop and held Perosi to a single with a strong throw. So Audubon's got their first hit of the game. Probably nothing too substantial, but it could start something as Sean Driscoll comes to the plate. Here's Driscoll. First pitch. There's a little floater out to right, and that one will fall, and it'll take a bad hop and go past the first and second baseman. Going to third is the pinch runner, Broadhurst, who is safe. A base hit for Driscoll that took a rather conniving path. It bounced off the edge of the infield and skipped away from the first baseman, Barbato, and the second baseman, Frombach. So that allowed the pinch runner, Broadhurst, to advance an extra base. So very interesting there, as that was not a natural bounce. That hit off the edge of the dirt and the start of the grass. So here's Isaiah Pinckney, and just the being of him walking up to the plate allows the outfielders to move back, considering the damage that he has done at the plate this year. As the first pitch is an off-speed pitch for a strike. It's 0-1 on the upper half of the plate. If the inning were to continue, Scott Lynch would be the next batter. Oh, 1. Sieber looks eagerly back at first, and that was a ground ball to short, and he will take it to himself at second base. No problem for Gavin Alloway to retire the side by himself. The Green Wave are faced with the same situation as Gateway did, runners on the corners, but neither team scored. So we go to the second inning, no score from Hank Greenberg. Going to the top of the second here from Hank Greenberg Field, the first batter of the inning for Gateway will be Tony Tacanelli, the left-handed DH. This broadcast is brought to you in part by the Quick Pit Podcast. All the news, information, and hot takes you need in the world of motorsports, run by my good friends Nate and Connor out of their studio in central Pennsylvania. Of course, the Texas All-Star Race was this weekend, filled to the brim with controversies and a wild finish where Ryan Blaney got the win and the $1 million. So if you'd like to hear what they have to say about it, new episodes come out on either Wednesdays or Thursdays, depending on when they have time, on anywhere where you can find podcasts, including Spotify and Anchor. We thank the Quick Pit Podcast for supporting Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. It's quickly 3-0 to Tony Tacanelli, a rough start to the inning for Perosi. We'll see if he can reel him in, though. He is not. Ball 4. I've noticed that it takes a little while for Perosi to get into the groove, at least as of late, giving up that double on the first pitch of the game. And, that goes for either start. Even in the first inning versus Cinnaminson, he had run into some trouble, getting a couple of runners on, but getting out of it. Once Perosi gets into the groove, he's fine, which is why I think Rich Horan and Ryan Knoll, the two guys that are most influential in those decisions, he's the guy that does the most with that. As there's a ground ball up the line on a bunt, the flip to first is in time. Moving to second is Tacanelli. But the seventh batter of the inning, Ryan Sieber, the pitcher, is retired, and that brings up Mike Scambia, the center fielder. So runner on second and one away. But you just got to remember that, with Perosi, I think they know of his tendencies, and they know to give him leniency. Once they see the first sign of trouble, they're not going to get somebody warmed up in the bullpen because they know that he can get out of it. Here's another bunt. Gateway being very, bunt happy, if you will. That's the third batter that has attempted one this ball game, as that one is fouled back to the screen. It's 0-1. They've been very willing to play some small ball with the Green Wave. As you can see, the infielders have been very alert in addressing that, as there's a ground ball to Perosi. He's going to throw on the lead runner at third, and they got him there on the tag. There's 2 away. So reaching first will be Scambia, and here's Peter Frombeck. I mean, you saw as soon as he attempted it the first time, all the infielders were right on the grass. They were willing to just be ready for that, you know? You see some teams that are kind of lagging behind sometimes in that department, in the alertness and communication. And one of the things that Rich Horan said, I was looking through my old notes from when I was just getting started with this back on March 11th. Do you believe how far back that's been? First pitch to Frombeck is a swing and a miss. It's 0-1. But back on March 11th, you know, I was listening to what Horan had to say to the team in the huddle, and he said, we want to strike fear in the other team before we even take the field. And that's exactly what they've been doing with their communication and their routines. It's 0-2 to Frombeck, the second baseman for the Gators, but, you know, it's just symbolic of the kind of ritual, maybe not ritual, but the routines and traditions that the Green Wave have. There's a swing and a miss. Perosi sets down Frombeck. Gateway will go back to the top of the order when they take home plate again in the top of the third, but we still remain scoreless. No score after 1.5. Bottom of the second here from Hank Greenberg. The team leader in home runs, Scott Lynch, will lead off. He has 4 this year. He had one versus Haddon Heights, and of course we got it on tape. Just no commentary from me because that's when we were panicking to get all of our equipment fixed, and of course it ended up being an overheating problem with our capture card, as that one is a ball to Scott Lynch. Now, just for a very short explanation, the capture card is basically what makes you see the feed on the screen. If I was connecting a power cable or an HDMI cable from the camera to the laptop directly, it would basically act like when you're loading photos off of your cameras, there's a line shot into left, a base hit. This one's going to roll. It's going to roll a long way, and that will be a ground rule double. It was never called by the umpires, but that's what was assumed. It ricocheted off of the lawn chair. Might be Dwight Massey's lawn chair, but actually no, he is standing in left field. So that's somebody else's lawn chair, and it ended up ricocheting off of that. And you can see Scambia is talking. Okay, so that's what just happened. Scambia went over to the left fielder Dylan Cruitt, and told him that when something like that happens, he has to put his hands up. So Scambia went over there to kind of let him know, hey, that's what you got to do. Because what if that ball got stuck in a lawn chair and, he didn't know what he was doing? I've seen that situation a couple times where the outfielders just don't lift up their hands. Or like, I believe it was 2017 in a spring training game between the Mets and Astros. Tyler White hit a fly ball to center field, and it got stuck under the wall, but it wasn't really stuck. It was just sitting there. Anybody could have picked it up. And Yoenis Cespedes put his hands up saying, ball's stuck. But it obviously wasn't. It had several inches of clearance under it, and the umpire said, no, that's a live ball. You can pick it up. Ended up being a inside the park home run for one of the slowest guys in baseball, who I believe is now with the Seattle Mariners. But it is 0-2 to the sophomore catcher Ryan Zimmer with a runner on second and nobody out. The 0-2 pitch. That one is fouled back to the tarp behind home plate. Remember, versus Haddonfield, Tyler Wiltsey had what I like to call the reverse ground rule double, where instead of the ball hopping over the wall, it rolled under the wall, under the MJK electric sign in left center field. How it happened was because of the elevation change, which I almost kind of see as like Towles Hill 2.0. That one's upstairs, 1 and 2. If you can't see it too well on the camera, I don't blame you, but you see where the fence goes up? There is a slight elevation change there. So it's not just like the fence itself is higher, the actual elevation is higher. Now, balls usually don't go that far all the time. The dimensions of this ballpark are kind of unorthodox. But because it's high school and there's not that many home runs, it doesn't make too much of a difference. It is outside to Zimmer on the outside corner. Call goes in the favor of Audubon, and it's 2-2. Probably maybe a foot or two, if not more. I can't really eyeball it and tell you my description, but it's a very good elevation change, and the ball just snuck in the right pocket and went under the wall. There's a swing and a miss. Zimmer really swinging out of his shoes. He's been doing that a lot lately to really no avail, as a swing and a miss is the first out of the bottom of the second. Here's the 8th batter in the lineup for the Green Wave, the junior left fielder Charlie Grady. And I got to say, as of late, the bottom 3 in the order, Zimmer, Grady, and Beebe, they have been ramping it up. You look a couple weeks ago at that game versus West Deptford, in West Deptford, where Charlie had a go-ahead double and closed out the game. He really was the MVP of that game despite batting 8th in the order. You think of where you sit in the order as a basis of merit, if you will, because if we're being honest, Xavier Massey or even John Perosi, he doesn't bat third because he has the speed. He bats third because he has the power and the experience. It's not like some of the major league lineups that we see crafted all the time as the 0-1. Whoa, hello. That was a breaking ball that almost went to space. It's 1-1. Had to be brought down. Sometimes that happens. I've seen stray breaking balls or whatever almost clear that apparatus behind home plate. I've seen some wild pitches before, but the 1-1, swinging a ground ball, took a bad hop and travels foul. That was a close call. It looked like it either hit off the third base bag or hit off a patch of grass in foul territory. If it hit off the third base bag, of course, it would have been called fair, but the 1-2. Swinging a ground ball. This one is fair. Throw to first is in time. And there's 2 away. So Lynch holds at second, but the play, very nice play by Jack Norton, is the second out of the inning. So here's Zach Beebe. He had a slow start to the season, but he has been ramping up. A couple of base hits here and there, and he's really shown his production in the order. And I hope once we get to senior year that if he's a starting right fielder now, then he stays in that position because he's very good defensively. He has a lot of speed and a lot of value. As there's a base hit in the center field, like I was talking about, ramping up that production, here comes the throw to the plate from Scambia, and it is not in time. An RBI single. Actually, no, he moved up to second on the play, so he'll advance to second, and an RBI for Beebe makes it 1-0 Green Wave. Very nice there, and a very nice throw from Scambia, too. It was just a little bit high, but that shows the power that he's got in the outfield. Very nice arm strength. It was just a little bit high for the catcher, and he couldn't bring it down. So here's Massey back at the top of the lineup for the Green Wave. It's 1-0 to Xavier Massey. Bottom of the second, 2 away, and a runner on second. Lynch scored on an RBI from BB, and it's 1-0 Green Wave. Sieber's looking very intently back at second base. And it's 1-1. I was confused by what you meant. We have, it's very interesting about this setup that we do. As there's a breaking ball that tried to be framed by the catcher, but by Saraceno, but it did not go to plan. To avoid interrupting the broadcast, we do these hand signals. Like, we give each other the count. We do, like, 2 and then a fist for out to show how many outs there are. We do different hand signals for, like, runners on base and stuff, just so that we can keep the broadcast flowing, as it is 2-2 to Massey.
I was trying to verify how many outs there were, and you kept giving me a fist pump.
Yeah, I was like, what did I do right? No, but, like, we've been doing that since the start of the year, really, because it keeps it flowing without, having, like, hey, how many outs there are? Hey, what's on base? Sometimes what I do is I keep it flowing. As the 2-2 is in the dirt, running to third is BB, and he is in there no problem. Brought in by Saraceno. So a wild pitch there from Sieber, and moves him up 90 feet. The 3-2 pitch to Massey. Upstairs, ball 4. Massey flew out to center field his first time up. And now has himself on first base. So here's Tyler Wiltsey. But yeah, if you hear me sometimes say like very, out of place, like runners on first and third kind of thing, like just kind of when we're in downtime, sometimes that's to update the scoreboard. The first pitch to the freshman, Tyler Wiltsey. And Massey's going to go. They threw behind the runner, and now he's caught up, but that's not even going to be a problem. He moves up to second base. The first baseman, Barbato, he bobbled the baseball trying to throw it down to second, and it ended up just being a moot point anyway. So that'll be an error on the first baseman, and actually, we still haven't even thrown the first pitch to Wiltsey. Good frame by the catcher Saraceno, but no call. It's 1-0. What I've seen, especially from Ryan Zimmer, our guy, our catcher, he's been a very good framer this year. He's had a lot of strikes on the outside corner. If he just brings that glove in very rapidly in a split-second manner, he can get those strikes called, and that's going to be very useful for his younger pitchers. Because what we've seen from the freshman barrage this year, as it's 1-1 to Wiltsey, what we have seen is that they are very good at throwing borderline strikes, but just not quite there. Once they get older, once they get into sophomore and the upperclassmen years, as there's a high drive to left, this one's got a chance to go back, and this one is out of here. The second home run of the year for Tyler Wiltsey breaks this ball game open on a 3-run shot. And it is 4-0 Green Wave. He hit his first home run versus Haddon Heights. Both of his home runs at home this year. He clanks helmets with his base runners and is greeted by the team at home plate. So 4-0 Green Wave on a 2-out, 2-strike liner to left. That one did go a long way. So here's John Perosi. Usually I have more energy for those home run calls. However, I didn't know if the left fielder had caught it because there was really no reaction from anybody. Like, I knew it had gone over the fence, but I'm like, did he catch it? Or I didn't know what was going on. We had the same confusion with Isaiah Pinckney's home run in Collingswood when the center fielder, Noah Waldron, almost made the catch. And what had happened was that he had made the catch, but he flipped over the fence. Therefore, it was a home run. And I was just so bewildered that I didn't really make a proper call. I guess you could say that was the same there as the 1-0 to Perosi. It's a swing and a foul back to the apparatus, and it's 1-1. It's 1-0 to John Perosi. Upstairs and inside, 2-0 to Perosi. If you just joined us, rewind the tape about 5 minutes or even less, because Tyler Wiltsey just hit a 3-run home run to left field, his second of the year as a freshman. Tyler was actually recently named New Jersey's Freshman Baseball Player of the Year in the entire state for what he has done. And you know what? Growing up playing Little League against him, I was never on the same team as him. I had never played on the same team with him, but it shows just how prolific he is as a baseball player, and how many accomplishments are just in his future. As the 2-1 to Perosi, that one is ball 4. Excuse me, it is ball 4. They didn't update the scoreboard properly, so yeah. The article released on the 12th from Scott Fatok, and looks like we might have a meeting here. We will on the mound with the infield. Yes, Damian Broadhurst will run it first for Perosi. So here's Sean Driscoll. He will bat as the pitcher and catcher separate from each other. Two away, runner on first. As Perosi took the walk, Massey, who originally walked to start the inning, actually not to start the inning, he had been pretty deep into it by this point, but that one is fouled back towards Walnut, and it's 0-1. It's 0-1 to Sean Driscoll. Phillies play tonight again. They won last night 7-3. Scored 7 runs in the first couple of innings and then just kind of stalled out as the Braves started to ramp up their offense, but Knebel was able to close it out. There's a line drive on an awkward swing to center field, but Scambia is there, and that will retire the side. So we go to the top of the third. The Green Wave suddenly put 4 runs on the board, including a 3-run home run by Tyler Wiltsey. 4-0 Green Wave going to the third. Top of the third here from Hank Greenberg. Green Wave lead 4-0 on a 3-run home run by Tyler Wiltsey. This broadcast is brought to you in part by the Amato Brothers, a great restaurant right on Whitehorse Pike, just minutes away from all Audubon and Oakland attractions, right across the street from Aunt Bertha's Kitchen and Dunkin' Donuts. As the first pitch might have just gotten lost as it's 1-0. That one was a bit awry from Perosi, but great service, great food, all at a great price. Over 24 beers on tap. Make sure to check them out on the Whitehorse Pike, the Amato Brothers. Closed Mondays and Tuesdays. So actually, yeah, you can't go to dinner there tonight, but maybe tomorrow night. Yep. I didn't think about the fact that today is Tuesday.
And they usually have the games on.
Yeah, they usually do. Sometimes they got the Golf Channel on, which is quite interesting. Honestly, in the last couple of weeks, I've grown a much more deeper appreciation for Frisbee golf. I had to write about it in one of my one-page essays for gym class with my knee injury, and it's actually really interesting to watch. There's a couple of them in the area. There's one in Tavistock, one in Pittman, Alcyon Park. It's 2-2, though, to the leadoff man for Gateway, Jake Norton. Had a double down the right field line on the first pitch of the ball game. And that one got stuck. We have one. It got stuck. Yes, we got one stuck. Finally. I've been waiting all year for that.
Fence 1, Audubon nothing.
Fence 1, baseball 0. The 2-2 is outside. It's 3-2. I have never seen that before. Not in a scrimmage, I knew it could happen because I've seen it in practice. There's a ground ball hit sharply. Diving is Wiltsey, but it goes in the center field. So Norton, is 2 for 2. As Makai O'Kelly calls for Xavier Massey's name. It's just a circus here, isn't it?
We get random shout-outs all the time.
Yeah, Billy Lindemuth. All those guys. So runner on first and nobody out as Gavin Alloway. That one is in the dirt, skipped about 10 feet in front of the plate, and standing up at second is Norton. So another wild pitch. Just seen a couple of those today, but usually Audubon rebounds from those pretty well because, as I've seen, Ryan Zimmer is very good at smothering the ball at the plate. If it's in the dirt, he doesn't let it get past him. He doesn't keep his legs open. You know, he keeps it compact, he keeps it simple, and he keeps it effective. And honestly, I think that's from the fact that Zimmer's just been doing this for a long time. Back in Little League, Zimmer was always the catcher when I played against him. I believe he was on Legion at the time.
He was good even back then.
Yeah, he's always been good, Swing and a miss. Great cut fastball from Perosi, and it is 1-2. That one is down low and called as such. It's 2-2. Next up for Gateway will be the catcher senior, Mike Saracino. It's 3-2. Seniors did their portraits today with their cap and gown, and they actually were told to dress very nicely. So I saw just outside of my homeroom this morning as that one is, called strike 3 on the outside corner. Alloway thought it was ball 4, but the umpire says otherwise at home plate, and this will bring up Saracino. But I saw, Xavier and such, those guys, they were wearing, flashy suits on a Tuesday morning. I'm just like, I don't understand the point of wearing all this fancy clothing to get you. I mean, that's what they tell you to do. It's not like I'm criticizing their personal fashion choice. I'm saying that's what the school had directed them to do, which was dress nicely for your picture with a cap and gown. You can't even see anything under it anyway because what's covering it? The cap and the gown. I have never understood that. You can't just it's not.
They take other pictures though without the cap and gown.
I guess so. Yeah. Ground ball to third. Pinckney is there and he boots it. Somebody's got to be counting, right? I mean, that's not the first time we've seen that, and I think that is something that Pinckney will have to improve on. And I've talked to this with Cologne, and this isn't like I know I've been accused of trying to bash him, but that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm saying that look, last year the Green Wave as a team had 39 errors in just over 20 games. That's an average of 2 errors a game. And it seems like we've improved this year, but there are still some areas that, take some learning.
Continued improvement.
And that is exactly what I think Pinckney needs. He needs just sort of a learning curve to get himself there. He had I was watching some practices with Pinckney back before the season started, as that one is a foul ball at the plate. It's 0-2 to Saraceno. Rather to Barbado. Saraceno's on first base. But for Pinckney, though, as for Pinckney, he's just even in preseason practices, he seemed to be fine at the plate. With gap to gap power, he's got all of that. As that one is a strike. In fact, it's strike 3. So second strikeout of the inning for Perosi, and this brings up Hayden Lloyd. You just got to remember that no matter how good of a hitter you are, your defense matters just as much as your hitting. Think about it with Alec Boehm. I was at the game in Philadelphia on April 11th of this year when he made 3 errors in 3 innings, the first since Todd Zeile in 1996, the first Philly to make 3 errors in 3 innings since Todd Zeile in 1996. So, it was a long time coming. But for Boehm, his defense is usually okay, and his hitting is usually fine. But because of those 3 errors, and of course the one slip-up that he said on TV, it kind of hindered his reputation, at least for a little while in Philadelphia. Now, of course, for his... look at this. That was unusual. That is the most nonchalant stolen base I've ever seen. He just got up and jogged to the bag. Perosi didn't even throw the baseball. I guess he was just kind of, I don't know, but it's 1-1 to Lloyd as he takes a fastball away. It's 2-1. Runners on second and third. With 2 away, 4-0 Green Wave. Ground ball off of Perosi's glove to Wiltsey, who throws it to first, and it is in time. The side is retired. We'll continue that story when we get back. In the bottom of the third, Green Wave lead 4-0. They hold off Gateway's 2 runners again. Bottom of the third here from Hank Greenberg. Green Wave lead 4-0 over the Gateway Gators, as Isaiah Pinckney will be the first batter of the inning. It'll be Pinckney, Lynch, and Zimmer in the bottom of the third. Green Wave lead by 4. Tyler Wiltie had a 3-run home run, his second of his Green Wave career as a freshman. Of course, we were just talking about the fact that he was the top-voted New Jersey freshman in 2022. And, of course, that's not just like a journalists vote, obsessing over analytics. That's fan-voted. That's people voting from all over the state. Maybe centralized in Audubon, but people obviously around the county, around the state, have taken notice of Wiltsey. And they've taken notice of his talent, and that's why he got that vote. There's probably people in North Jersey who have a lot more prowess and a lot more recognition, but maybe not a lot more recognition, but maybe a lot more people to vote for them, as Isaiah Pinckney with a base hit to left. And Scott Lynch will be the second batter of the inning. So runner on first to lead off the inning as the Green Wave look to get ahead early, or at least stay ahead, get some insurance runs. Throw back to first, nothing doing. Pinckney remains standing up. One 0. One 0 to Lynch. It's outside. 2-0. Lynch leads the team in home runs with 4. He had 2 last year when he played high school in St. Petersburg, Florida, thanks to the COVID pandemic. Now that he's back in Audubon. I mean, with the school that he was playing with in St. Petersburg, that one's a swing and a miss, but it was foul-tipped. So I thought it was going to be a wild pitch, but it was foul-tipped at the plate. It's 2-1. Fact of the matter is, he could have very well stayed in his school in St. Petersburg. It was like our equivalent of a Group 4 or Group 5 school. Is a giant school. I mean, they were known for their Division I recruits and everything of the sort, but he came back to this small school, here in southern New Jersey, just outside of Philadelphia, and he's made a name for himself. Now, of course, Lynch is much more focused, maybe not much more focused, but much more notable for his football success, where he was named All-South Jersey Quarterback of the Year in his junior year. 2-1. And now we just saw what we saw in the top half of the inning with Pinckney going to second, now going over to third. He's going to do it again. Holy cow. Okay. So that'll be a comedy of errors, if you will. And now Frank Alloway is coming out to talk to the umpire. And the umpires will conference here because Frank Alloway wants to talk about what happened. So a stolen base for Pinckney and an E3. Of course, as the ball skipped away and went in the left field, the umpires are done conferencing. And Alloway is arguing that the fielder put his hands up and that the ball should have been dead, but and he's still yapping from the dugout. But we will resume play regardless with a 2-1 count to Lynch and a runner on third. This is where I wish I had like a lavalier mic that attached to the screen, so that like when Earl Weaver was mic'd up with those just absolutely fiery arguments with the umpire. Same with Terry Collins too. The 3-1 is popped up, foul. 3-2. That one just goes past the visiting grandstands. So the count is full to Lynch. At the same time, though, it's a double-edged sword, because you have those mics and you can hear the game much better, and then when a head coach comes out and wants to say something to the umpire, you might pick up something that is not family friendly. As that's ball 4 to Lynch. I've had that plenty of time. I mean, just, if you're Oakland Cougars fans, speaking of, Ryan Zimmer will come to the plate, but if you're an Oakland Cougars fan, you might remember the whole fiasco with Rancocas Valley last year, where there was a full-fledged brawl between parents of Palmyra and parents of Rancocas Valley. Police were called. And that was possibly one of the scariest moments that I've seen in broadcasting, as the first pitch is a ground ball, booted at third on a bad hop, but not really a bad play, and the ball will not go anywhere, really, and the bases are loaded. It just feels today, is it just me, or does the energy feel like dead?
It does. I think that because they've wrapped up the conference, this doesn't have as much hype to it.
And also, look at the dugout. Look how bare it is.
Yeah.
There's like nobody here. There's Rampola, there's Wiltsey, Driscoll, basically everybody that's not batting, but there's like nobody else here.
Yeah, JV must be having a game.
JV must be having a game because, well, first of all, Frank Alloway is meeting with the entire infield and right field, and holy cow, they got like the entire team on that right there. Holy cow. So Alloway meeting with his team. So Charlie Copsetta, the sophomore, will pinch run at first for Scott Lynch. I assume that means that Perozzi might be done. Or, no, excuse me, that's for Zimmer. My apologies. Lynch is still on second. Again, apologies for that. Lynch on second, Pinckney on third, and Copsetta on first. So with the courtesy runner, I say pinch runner, substitute runner. I think everybody knows by now, really, if you know a thing or two about high school baseball, that there are pinch runners all the time for pitchers and catchers. It can run at any time, regardless of outs, regardless of situation. Some teams utilize them, some don't. I've seen that Audubon is one of the few teams that utilize courtesy runners a lot of the time. Gateway doesn't, because we saw that Mike Sarrazino was running the bases earlier. Maybe with 2 outs they might, but Audubon is, as far as I've seen this year, the only team that consistently puts in courtesy runners at any given point during the game. But with the bases loaded to Charlie Grady, the 1-0 is a swing and a line shot over the head of Norton into left field. 1 run is in. It's Pinckney. Here comes Lynch around. The throw back into the infield has no target, and 2 runs will score on a double from Charlie Grady. Well, rather an RBI single, and just like Zach Beebe did, he moved to second on the throw, and it is 6-0. So 2 runs come around to score, Pinckney and Lynch. And now here is Zach Beebe. Sieber still working out there. And Copsetta now all the way out to third, and Frank Alloway will come out. Now, I believe that they are signaling for a left-hander. That's what it appears to be. I believe the rule is that once the coach comes out twice in an inning, you have to take him out of the game, and that's exactly what they will do. So Sieber will walk back to the dugout. The final line for the freshman lefty, 6 runs allowed in 2 full innings. He did not record an out in the third. And now, as I just realized my camera was aiming for the trees, we have a new pitcher. We'll see who the mystery man is. I believe it is number 26, which would be if my numbers are correct, the shortstop, Gavin Alloway, the coach's son. We'll be right back. So pitching change for Gateway, down 6-0 in the third. Bottom of the third, my apologies. It seemed like just whoever was standing around the mound, I thought he was going to be the pitcher, but I was incorrect. Zach Beebe will bat. The new pitcher is the right-hander Jack Norton. Moving over to third, I believe, might be Sieber. I'm not sure. We'll wait till after this pitch, because the first pitch to Beebe is a swing and a line drive foul. So the new third baseman is number 25, which is Connor Barbato. Now at first is Sieber. But you see that? Look at the third baseman, Barbato. He's left-handed. We have a left-handed third baseman in the ballgame. You don't see that every day. There's a ground ball. Out to second. Throw to first is in time. And the run will score for the first out of the inning. An RBI single, or rather RBI ground out, by Beebe. And it is 7-0 Green Wave. Hey, you contribute runs any way you can, right? You know, Beebe had an RBI earlier in the game. And he's got another one here in the third. So runners, looks like the only runner active is on third base, which is Charlie Grady. He's been sitting there for a while now. Here's Xavier Massey. Looking to crack again. First pitch inside, 1-0. For Jack Norton this year, 2.06 ERA in 37 and a third innings. So really just light work for him. 44 strikeouts and 11 earned runs allowed. Believe it or not, well, here's a ground ball to third. And it goes past Barbato in the left field. It's picked up. Throw to second is not in time. So Massey with an RBI double, a little of a slow reaction out in left field, but they're able to corral it in, and another run comes around to score. 4 in the second, 4 in the third, and the Green Wave are well on the way to possibly a 13th straight win, but we have to get there first. It's 8-0 Green Wave. So here's Wiltsey. He homered in the second inning, and with a runner on second, he's the only active runner. So with one away, Green Wave looking for their 5th run of the inning, possibly trying to add on more. I mean, Gateway is not the kind of team that gets 10-runned like this. It's not normal that we see this all the time. But this 2022 team is a lot different. As that one goes in the center field, a base hit for Wiltsey. This one's picked up by Scambia, and that will score. Scambia. And it is 9-0 on an RBI single by Wiltsey. It just continues. They want to get out of here as early as possible. It's only 5:08. But if my numbers are correct, the Green Wave have mercy ruled a total of 2, 3, 4, including 3 in a row. We've mercy ruled 5 teams this year, including some very respectable teams like Gloucester. And, the 5 mercy rules that we've had this year were King's Christian, which wasn't really, nothing against them, but they have not really been at the top of their echelon. I don't even really know much about them now, and we've already covered 2 games against them. That one's a stolen base for Wiltsey. So big jump, and he gets into second base. So runner on second is all we got, it looks like. And it is 1-1 to John Perosi. Honestly, I didn't know much about King's Christian before or after the games. They barely even have a name. Nobody had even told me that they were called the Knights until midway through the second game. I mean, when you have a little private school in Cherry Hill like King's Christian does, sometimes information doesn't fly around like they would for a public school, especially in the baseball department. They barely even had an NJ.com page. As the 1-2, he steps off and throws back to second, or at least attempted to. 1-2 count to John Perosi. Sean Driscoll is on deck with a runner on second and 1 away. Green Wave lead 9-0, looking for their 5th 10-run rule of the year. Swing and a miss. A very hard fastball from Norton, and he picks up his 45th strikeout of the year. Very impressive numbers for Norton. And here's Sean Driscoll. For the record, the teams that Audubon has mercy ruled this year as the first pitch is fouled back. Kings Christian is 4-8 in 2022. Haddon Township is 7-12, so not great but not terrible. They were also a lot less stable when we beat them, when we played them on April 28th. When we no-hit Washington Township, they are 10-12 this year, and they're a Group 4 school. Here goes Wiltsey to third as the ball goes back to the tarp, and he stands up just fine. So it is 1-1 to Driscoll. Gloucester, 10-12 again in the same conference. And Collingswood, another 10-0, and they are 6-12 this year. So, I mean, I will say for the record, as the numbers explained itself, that the Green Wave have not mercy ruled any team above 500, but that shouldn't matter. They're winning. They beat Haddon Heights 9-1. That's almost a mercy rule, an 8-run lead. And only played 5 innings anyway because of rain. 1-2. Oh! Oh no. That one got him right in the face. At least I think that's where it got him. Either his arm or somewhere. From my view, I had a bit of an obstructed view at home. It looks like his arm. My apologies. That's just where it looked like. It was a 1-2 count to Driscoll, and he went to swing, and it was a little too late for him to be getting around, and he is standing up and walking away, saying something to his coaches, and so he will go into the dugout. I assume that well, let's see what's going on here. Okay, so because he went to grab his helmet, I think what had happened. I don't know what he was going to grab, but you can see he's holding his arm.
They hit him in the side of the arm. And watch the replay.
Well, let's point the camera back at home plate first. It looks like they're going to do a pinch runner for him, because he is being called back to the dugout. You can see Inkster's there. You can definitely see something's wrong with his arm. You said it hit him in the side of the arm?
Yeah, if you watch on the replay here, as the pitch comes in, it looks like it's inside, and he starts to turn, and that's how it hit him in his right arm.
Right.
You kind of obstructed view right there, but watch the ball
From the
come
second
in.
baseman.
Yeah, watch the ball come in. He turns and hits him right in the arm.
Well, that is very scary, but it looks like running at first will be Jack Dempsey, who will run at first base. So, yeah, very much scary situation. So hopefully Sean Driscoll's okay. It looks like he's chilling out in the dugout. Not really chilling out, but breaking ball to Isaiah Pinckney. Ooh, that one's a ball, yeah. He is going to feel that one in the morning, as they say.
Colors on his arm like a tattoo.
Yeah, that's one of those things where you just have to let it sink in, really. It's 2-2 to Isaiah Pinckney with runners on the corners and 2 away. That one is strike 3. Or not? Oh. Scoreboard had it wrong. It's 2-1. Oh, goodness. Yeah, I was like, hold up a second. Runner's going. Throw to up. No throw. Okay. He pump faked it to second Saraceno, but nothing going on there. So it's 2-2 to Pinckney with runners on second and third and 2 away. It's kind of like when I dislocated my kneecap, you know? When I'm laying there on the ground just after it happened, it didn't hurt. I was just kind of in shock. And then when it actually kind of settled in, maybe during the ride to Cooper ER, then it was like, oh, that one hurt, you know? I just hope nothing's broken for Sean, like a broken arm or nothing. Just hopefully it's a bruise or something minor. It's a 3-2 count to Pinckney. 2 runners in scoring position. And that one is in the dirt, ball 4, but look who's coming home. And he slides in safely. Tyler Wiltsey with aggressive base running on ball 4 as the ball had been wild back to the backstop, and it is now 10-0. So Jack Dempsey moves up to third, and here is Scott Lynch. Fouled back to the apparatus. 0-1. So 10-0 Green Wave. As I thought that would be called a balk, but I guess, you know, in a 10-0 game, don't want to really amplify the situation, but that one is called a strike on the outside corner. It's 0-2.
You can see where he's holding it. That's where he got hit.
Right
Above the elbow.
Looks like right below the elbow. Looks like where he got hit. Again, obviously hoping that he's okay, and I doubt that he's going to stay in the game because Jack Dempsey's running for him, as there's a high pop up to center, but it looks like either the wind or just the altitude of the ball will keep that one in, and Scambia makes the catch to retire the side. But the Green Wave put up 6 runs. We might be going home early, folks. We go to the 4th. 10-0 Green Wave, and it looks like Jack Dempsey will go out to second base instead of Sean Driscoll. Top of the 4th inning, Green Wave lead by 10. This broadcast is brought to you in part as the first pitch is down low for a ball. This broadcast is brought to you in part by Doug Does Anything, your local handyman. If you need anything done, no matter how big or small, give Doug Does Anything a call. He worked on our kitchen and bathroom just before the new year, did an absolutely wonderful job, and also for great rates as well. So make sure you call 856-412-0118. Again, 856-412-0118 is a swing and a miss from the left-hander D.H. Tacanelli is a strike, and it's 2-1. Looks like Gavin Alloway is warming up in the, well, faux bullpen, if you will, and Also, as well, that is number 2 over there, not listed in our lineup, but we'll check on that in a second as the 3-2 to Tacanelli. He's outside, ball 4. Tacanelli walks for the second time today. Actually, the first time all game he's had a strike thrown to him. Had a 4-pitch walk in his first at-bat. The second pitcher warming up in the bullpen is Max Matalavage, as the first pitch to Ryan Sieber is a strike. And now that one's going to be a pass ball as it goes to second base, and the throw is not in time. So moving to second is Tacanelli. As even his first base coach kind of scolded at him to not slow down. Very well appears he may have going into second, so that's why the play was a lot closer than it was. And it's outside to Sieber, and it is 2-1. Ooh, called for a strike. Hey, we'll take it. It's 2-2. We've seen some of those calls today that have just been, I hate to say it, but not 100% consistent. But that's, I think the main thing with why people complain sometimes at any level about umpiring. Now, don't get me wrong. I love umpires. I'm usually the people to defend them instead of scold them. I think what people care about more, as we'll pause that, ground ball to third, Pinckney's throw, is getting away. So that'll get a run home, and it is 10-1. So Gateway gets their first run of the game, and that nulls the mercy rule for now with a runner on second and nobody out. So the throwing error by Pinckney that got past Lynch now forces the Green Wave to score another run in order to get their 5th mercy rule of the year. Of course, Gateway's looking to make this thing go all 7, whether they win or lose, as a swing and a miss from Scambia makes it 0-1 to the center fielder. And now with no people from the track squad here, that makes it even quieter than it already was. I mean, it doesn't matter that the Green Wave have already locked up the conference. There's a decent amount of fans here. There's just no action. There's really nothing much. In the dugout itself, there's no more than a half dozen guys in there. There's Driscoll, Broadhurst, Rampolla, Copsetta, and Colon. That's it. Everybody else is out doing something else. The 1-2 is a swing and a fly ball by Scamby on the rather awkward 2-handed swing, and Wiltsey makes the catch, 1 away. Here's Peter Frombeck, second baseman. Frombeck, the sophomore infielder, as that's a swing and a miss. It's 0-1. Just his 5th at-bat of the year. His other appearance was on April 30th versus Cumberland in their 9-5 loss. Frombeck yet to have a hit this year in varsity ball. He did have an RBI on a walk, but that was really about it. His other appearance was in the 17-1 win on April 23rd versus Salem. So only the 16-run blowout versus Salem and the 9-5 loss. Oh boy, 95-5. That's based. Oh, what's that cartoon called from
That's baseball bugs, or the gas house gorillas are the ones.
Bang! That's what it feels like to be with the Green Wave, honestly. Fromback strikes out, and here is Jack Norton. Oh my goodness. First pitch to Norton is a swing and a miss on a breaking ball. His front foot was angled at such a way that was just unfathomable for him to swing at. It's 0-1. Runner on second, 2 down. And in a 10-1 game, the mercy rule is, well, at least for now, no longer an issue, or at least no longer in effect. There's a high chopper that will go foul. It's 0-2. And Xavier Massey is singing in the outfield. Give him a Grammy.
Don't quit your day job.
He's just saying, I'm so bored. What's upstairs? It's 1 and 2.
That song's over 40 years old, and baseball did it for every team back in 1992.
The 1-2 to Norton is strike 3. Or, yes, no, maybe so. No. Oh. I was just about to say, you know, my semi-signature phrase, that's right down Broadway, but no. It is called a ball. It's 2-2. In a 9-run game, you know, you got to have some gimmies, but that one is upstairs, 3-2. The adventures of Xavier Massey and Zach Beebe in the outfield. There's a fly ball that will go foul off of the giant oak tree. I don't know if that's an oak tree or whatever, but
Not off our car.
yeah, it was. It probably would have gotten close if that tree wasn't there, which is why we parked there. But I'm gonna miss all these seniors when they graduate because they are so fun. Ground ball, Dempsey, throw to first in time. Beautiful pick and throw from Jack Dempsey, and the side is retired. Gateway gets a run, so they hold them at bay for now. It's 10-1 going to the bottom of the 4th. 10:01 in the bottom of the fourth here from Hank Greenberg Field. This broadcast is brought to you in part by the Borough of Audubon. Since Audubon Day has come and gone, we don't have too much to advertise for them, but make sure you check out the Audubon Celebration Committee on Facebook for more information on stuff like the 4th of July Parade, the Holiday Parade, the Third Friday events, National Night Out, everything of the sort, as the first pitch to Ryan Zimmer is a strike. But also, make sure you check out the Borough of Audubon's official Facebook page for information on stuff sort of maybe like trash collection and new updates of what's going on, road closures, everything of the sort. So if you're a resident of Audubon, make sure you check them out at the Borough of Audubon on Facebook. So it's 1-1 to Ryan Zimmer, the leadoff man and the seventh man in the order for the Green Wave, as Gateway has kind of held them in a tough spot. They trail 10-1, but that's the 9-run deficit, the most frustrating thing in all of high school baseball, where, well, you're not going to mercy rule them, but you're not going to lose very gracefully, as a check swing should have been called a strike, and it was. It's 1-2. So here's Charlie Grady. Outside, 1-0 to Charlie. The junior outfielder, the 1-0, takes a ball down low in the dirt, 2-0. Batting .277 this year with 7 extra base hits. He's got 6 doubles, more than the average ball player on this team, really. 5 stolen bases, 3 walks, 18 for 65, and a 400 slugging percentage. On the mound, he's got a 2.17 ERA. He's a very good overall player. I don't know who will take over center field duties when Xavier Massey leaves, but I know for sure that Charlie Grady will still be a mainstay. That's for sure. He's a very good overall ball player, which is why the Green Wave have won 12 straight, as a swing and a miss by Grady on a fastball that wasn't even at his eyes. It was basically above his head at that point. It's 2-2. Basically, the truth is that the reason why the Green Wave have won 12 straight is because of how good their order is from top to bottom. You know, I was doing some research on a future video project I'm going to be doing in the summer on the Phillies. I'm going to be trying to get more into video projects when I'm not doing stuff like this, because that's the other side of research and journalism that I want to cover, sort of documentary style, in-depth sort of research projects. But this will be during the summer. I was doing research on I believe it was the 1996 or 97 Phillies. The Phillies at that time in the late 90s were okay. They were all right under Larry Boa. Or actually, no, that was Francona from 97 to 2000. But Boa was before him. After? Oh. I did this research yesterday. I don't know how I'm already blanking on it. But
It was actually Jim Fregosi in the 90s after
Right.
he took over for Nick Leyva in 91. He went to 96, Francona. He went from 97 to 2000, and then Larry Boa came on board.
Until 2004, as the 3-2 pitch to Grady is inside ball 4. So he'll take first base, and this will bring up Zach Beebe. So what I was trying to make a point of, regardless of year or manager, that, the Phillies, they had a good trio of players. Bobby Abreu, Scott Rowland, and Kurt Schilling. But back in 96, you know who the 4th-ranked player was in wins above replacement, or WAR? Desi Relaford. Desi Relaford.
I remember him.
And below him was Doug Glanville and stuff, as the first pitch to Beebe is a fly ball down the right field line, going over to the right fielder, and it is foul. Actually headed over to Mark Wiltsey. Nice throw, Mark. I've seen a lot of talking today from the center fielder, Mike Scambia. He seems like I don't know much about Gateway. but they seem like they are, Scambia seems like a very good team leader. He's been talking to his outfielders. We saw on what should have been a ground rule double earlier, but was never really called. You know, he had told the left fielder, he went up to him in between batters and said, hey, you got to put your hands up. You know, you got to do this. And I really do respect that from Scambia, the fact that he is putting himself first and putting his team first. Not putting himself first, putting his team first and, you know, putting his teammates in mind on what they should do with the fundamentals of the game, especially if they're much younger guys. A stolen base for Grady, that's his 6th of the year, so he'll put himself in scoring position with 1 away. Still 10-1 Green Wave, bottom of the 4th. You're watching an exclusive broadcast of Green Wave Baseball here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. If you have any questions or comments, please drop me a line at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. I try to check my emails every time I'm not getting something from the New York Times cooking subscription, as there's another foul ball. It's 1-2. Also, any serious sponsorship inquiries should also go to that email. Again, thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. Yeah, not my proudest moment today. Got woken up by, I forgot to turn off my email notifications, and I got woken up by the New York Times cooking subscription literally at 6:30 in the morning. This morning I was very inspired to make bruschetta. Love those kind of gaffes that you have. Just a crazy week. Ground ball lined to short, and it goes off the glove and into center field. The throw from Frombach is not in time, and it's 11-1. So we're back to that 10-run threshold on an RBI single from Beebe. He has really been ramping it up. Had a slow start, and now he's gotten himself going, and it's 11-1. Runner on first with 1 away, and this brings up Massey back at the top of the order, the guy who proclaims that he is so bored.
Well, cause some excitement.
Yeah,
man.
cause some excitement for yourself. Come on, man.
Hit one out of here.
Hit one, yeah, 4 homers. Remember, he had the closest. Oh, that one's going to get away, and it will roll all the way out to the chain link fence. Mark Wiltsey gets out of the way. The ball is still in play. It never left the field of play, and Zach Beebe will gain 2 bases on the E1. The ball never went out of play. You see those orange cones down the line. That's what dictates whether the ball is in play or out of play. The chain link fence back there does not. The cones do. And from my view, that never went past the cones. So therefore, that will not be out of play. He just happened to gain 2 bases no matter what. It's 1-0 to Massey. After this would be Tyler Wiltsey. I wonder if Jack Dempsey also replaced his spot in the batting order. I assume so. There's some commotion somewhere. You know, that's probably from the softball game that's actually across the street past the high school. I almost forgot about that. I was like, what is that noise? And then I realized that's a softball game. You can hear them from that far away. High fly ball to right. This one's got a chance, but it is playable and dropped. Beebe will score. This will be a double for Massey. And he points to our booth again. It's 12-1. Beautiful. That one...
It caused his own excitement, at least. He has said he caused his own excitement, at least. Now he's not bored.
Yeah. Again, look at Scambia, man. You know, he is showing off some incredible leadership there, giving advice to his right fielder. He obviously has a very high baseball IQ. That one's upstairs. Massey goes to third, and it goes in the left field. And he will score. 13-1. We may very certainly be going home early. Unless
This inning might last a half an hour.
Yeah, 4 runs in the second. 6 runs in the third and 3 runs in the fourth, which brings us to our current point. Gateway's only run came in the top half of this inning. on a throwing error. Strike one. If you're just joining us, well, the scoreboard makes it apparent as to who is on the offensive barrage of the ball. It's 13-1. Green Wave lead by 12 runs in the bottom of the fourth. We still have to get through the top of the fifth inning before we can go home, and for the Green Wave would embark on their fifth mercy rule of the year. Actually, assuming their sixth mercy rule of the year, and what would be their 13th win in a row, which, as far as I could tell, is their best regular season winning streak dating back to 2010, when records are available on NJ.com. Now, there is records for going back to 2008 on Max Preps, but I haven't exactly looked at them yet. Throw to first in time, and there's two away, so base is cleared, and here is John Perosi. Let's see who grabs a bat next. And it is Jack Dempsey. So presuming that everything goes to plan, or if, everything is good, then Jack Dempsey will be the next to bat, replacing Sean Driscoll. Obviously hoping he's all right. If this game ends early, I got a quick question for you. Who do you think should be the Amato Brothers player of the game? Actually, hold that thought. We'll talk about it in between innings. A fly ball to left, and it is caught out there in left by Dylan Cruitt. We'll go to the top of the fifth. Crunch time for Gateway to get some runs on the board, or else we will be going home early. It's 13-1. Green Wave on top. Top of the fifth here from Hank Greenberg, as crunch time for Gateway to get at least 2 runs on the board, or else Audubon will be going home early with their lucky 13th straight win, as the first pitch is outside. It's 1-0. High fly ball to right, playable for Beebe, a can of corn for him, and he makes the catch, 1 away. So this will bring up the catcher, Saraceno. It's fouled back. It's 0-1. By the way, this broadcast is brought to you in part by Crafty Couture DIY Studio. DIY Chalk Studio with pre-made home decor ready to be purchased and brought home. A lot of Audubon exclusive merchandise is available. That's a swing and a miss. It's 0-2. Along with graduation merchandise if your child or if you yourself are graduating, there's a whole lot available there. As a swing and a miss brings us to 2 down. Follow Craft Couture on Facebook, by the way. So last out, possibly for the Wave, if they keep everything on their feet, is Connor Barbato, who was the first baseman, moves to third base. As there's a fly ball to right, but it will go foul. Here's a fly ball to center field, and that one will fall in on a hot base hit, Barbato. Very much trapped, just barely got in there. And Barbato keeps the hopes alive for Gateway, as now it is Hayden Lloyd, the right fielder. 13-1, Audubon leads by 12 runs. As John Perosi looks for a complete gamer in 5 innings. He lines this one to Dempsey, who fields it on a hop, but boots it, and the throw to first is in time. And Xavier Massey signals for me to get the outfield celebration. And there we go again. 13 straight wins for the Green Wave. They compile in their dugouts. They will meet with Gateway, shake their hands, and we will be right back with the interview of the player of the game brought to you by Amato Brothers. We'll be right back, folks.